Hello everyone, Kaiza here, back with more Path to Nowhere. Today we are going to talk about Graves, a bride who has been abandoned all alone in the spooky dark castle, waiting for her perfect love. So Chief, if you think you are the one, prepare your hypercube and get ready, because you can't let her waiting any longer. Graves is an S-rank Umbra Sinner who deals physical damage. Her characteristic is that her ultimate can deal core damage. Not only that, when the enemy exposes their cores, for each elite Umbra Sinner present in your team, Graves convert one enemy core into an Umbra core up to a maximum of 3. This means you might want to bring 3 Umbra including Graves herself in your team. So what is Umbra core? Umbra core is this blue core you see on the screen. The core that converted to Umbra core will always be the leftmost core, meaning that Umbra core will be the last enemy core you break into brick state. Graves Mania Intensify is damage plus 10%, and another damage plus 10% to enemies with broken cores. Typical DPS Mania Intensify. So, does that mean she's a damage dealer? Or does she has any other role? Let's take a look at her skill and abilities. Graves' normal attack is called Adoration. It's a single target attack dealing damage equal to 95 to 190% of Graves' attack within skill range. Not much to talk about the normal attack, so let's move on. Her ultimate is called Wedding Finale. It costs 30 energy, which I think is pretty high. With her ultimate, Graves deal an AoE attack dealing 1040 to 2080% of Graves attack on the targeted 3x3 area. This ultimate also deals 2 core damage. After the ultimate, Graves gain Cupid Grace for 15 seconds. During the Cupid Grace state, when Graves dealing a normal attack, Graves will also deal an additional damage equal to 85% of her normal attack within 3x3 area of the target. You will notice that there is an extra animation on her normal attack, while Cupid Grace is active in form of the slashing effect around the target. Cupid's Grace attack is count as normal attack, meaning it's possible to crit. However, the Wedding Finale itself is still considered as skill damage, so it cannot crit. To summarize, this skill has high damage multiplier, deal 2 core damage, and has 50-second potential of wave clearing with Cupid Grace. So I kinda understand why the cost is pretty high. Her passive one is called Love's Maxim, and this is where Umbra cores comes to play. When an Umbra core of an enemy is broken, Graves applies 1 stack of Vow to the enemy. You can identify Vow by looking at this purple buckwheat symbol. On smaller enemy, it will appear above their head, while on bosses you can find it below their health. When the enemy enters the core brick state, remove all Vow stack on the enemy and deal damage equal to 300 to 600% of Graves attack for each stack of Vow removed. If you bring 3 Umbra, then you will convert 3 Umbra core, making the potential maximum damage is 1800%. That's almost as good as Graves on ultimate. Also, I believe the damage is applied after the enemy entering the brick state, meaning it will get the extra brick state damage multiplier. Her passive 2 is called Lonesome Spectre. When an allied sinner other than Graves break an Umbra core, both the sinner and Grave gain attack plus 1.2 to 2.5%. If Grave is the one who break the core, she gain 2 stack instead. This effect can be stacked 12 times, giving you a potential of 30% attack boost, and it lasts until the end of the battle. This passive allows Graves to act as a support, increasing the damage output of Sinner who can deal core damage. In situation where Umbra core is limited, ideally you want to prioritize breaking core with other Sinner instead of Graves. Let me explain. Let's say you will generate a total of 10 Umbra core in the whole fight. You break 6 of them with Graves and she will gain 2 stack each. Naturally, she will reach the maximum 12 stack. Then you break the remaining 4, let's say with Angel. Normally, Grave will also gain 1 stack when Angel break the Umbra core, but in this scenario, she already maxed out, so you basically wasted an extra 4 stack of Lonesome Spectre. That's make a total of 16 stack of Lonesome Spectre gained during the fight. But if you break 5 core with Angel and another 5 core with Zero, for example, Graves will also gain 1 stack of Lonesome Spectre each, totaling 10 stack. That's a total of 20 stack of Lonesome Spectre across the party. So unless Grave is somehow your main damage dealer, which is unlikely, it's best to spread as many Lonesome Spectre as possible to the party. There is no indicator of how many stack that Graves or allied sinner has currently. However, if Graves or an allied sinner has reached maximum stack, you will see this like stream going upward around them. If you shackle 1 Graves, you will also gain additional damage plus 2.5% to enemies with broken cores for each stack of Lonesome Spectre. Graves' exclusive Crimebrand is called Wedding of Love. It's an exclusive ultimate dealing AoE damage to all enemies, equal to 300, 600 or 900 of Graves' attack depending on the level. It also applies Ethereal to them, which lasts until the end of battle. When an enemy with Ethereal enters core brick state, for each stack of Vow removed, their core brick state duration increased by 1 second. This exclusive ultimate can only be used one time. So basically, if you bring 3 Umbra and convert 3 Umbra core, that basically an extra 3 seconds of brick state for the enemy. Now, since I'm more interested with the brick state extension instead of the damage, and I will show you why later, I recommend you to just level this to level 1 at most. Sinner will have synergy with Graves obviously on Umbra, since Graves need 3 Umbra in the party for her full potential. Any Umbra is fine, but the one with ability to do core damage is preferable, so they can take advantage of Graves' passive too. So the list of the best Umbra I can think of, number 1 is Zero. It's an obvious choice. She is a limited sinner, overpowered, and can deal 3 core damage during the projection state. Second is Mantis, probably the best Umbra damage dealer after Zero at the moment. Mantis deal good damage and can deal 2 core damage while in corruption state. She is a crit based sinner, and since Graves want to have 3 Umbra in the party, it's also open up the synergy with Yugu, since Yugu can gain additional tendency when there are 3 sinners with the same tendency in the party. Check out my Yugu guide for more detail about her. Third is Baiyi, not the current Baiyi, but the future Baiyi that will get a buff from an upgrade system called Ascension. The current Baiyi is kind of outdated, so don't use her right now. And then we have Angel, who really excel in stages with many cores, allowing to hit multiple ultimate within a short period of time. But she's kinda niche because she really rely a lot with stages with a lot of cores. If you need an Endura in the team, you can bring more because she has the ability to deal AoE core damage and grant physical damage increase, which basically all previous Umbra mentioned are dealing physical damage. And as you can see, the Sinner mentioned all very energy hungry, not to mention that Graves' ultimate also costs 30 energy, so you can bring LL as the team engine. The next Sinner is a future Sinner, and she's gonna be super important, but I'm still going to show you Mercy here. So if you don't want to get spoiled, please check my description and jump to the skill priority section now. I will give you 10 seconds. Okay, if you're still here, then you are okay with spoiler. So, the next Sinner is Parfait. I'm not going through all of her abilities, but only mention the one that has direct synergy with Graves. Keep in mind, this is based on translation that's scattered around the internet, so there is a chance of mistranslation. First is her characteristic is the same as Graves, meaning if you has her and 3 Umbra including Graves, you will be able to convert up to 6 Umbra cores instead of 3. Her Mania Intensify will count as if you deal 2 core damage, even if when you actually break 1. Now let's see how it will affect Graves' abilities. First is her passive one. Instead of having a maximum of 3 Umbra cores to break, now you can have up to 6 Umbra cores to break, which going to increase the potential maximum damage to 3600%. And if we consider her Mania Intensify, each Umbra core break will be count as 2 Umbra core. That's a total of 7200% of passive 1 damage. With passive 2, it will not increase the maximum stack you can get, but it will definitely make it much easier to get maximum stack because remember, when you break an Umbra core, now it will be counted as if you break 2. Last but not least is Graves' exclusive Crimebrand. Since passive 1 now has a potential to apply 12 stacks of Vow, that means with the exclusive Crimebrand effect, removing 12 stacks of Vow is equal to 12 extra seconds on enemy brick stage. Remember when I said I'm more interested in the brick state extension effect instead of the damage? This is what I'm talking about. Again, keep in mind that this is untested because I don't have access to the Cyan version of the game, so my interpretation can be wrong. Please take it with a grain of salt. But regardless, Parfait will have a very good synergy with Graves in the future, that is for sure. For skill priority, It will be under assumption that you have the future sinner. If you don't plan to pull the future sinner, it's probably going to be different, and chances are the value of Grace will be lower compared when you have her. First is passive 2. It's basically a potential attack plus 30% to every sinner that can deal core damage. You definitely want this for your main damage dealer. Second is passive 1. If you bring the new sinner with you, it will multiply this passive potential up to 3 times, which is 7200, out damaging Graves' own ultimate. Third is normal attack. Raising this basically raising the potential damage of Cupid Grace state, which allow Graves to have a bit more of wave clearing capabilities. Last but not least is the ultimate. The ultimate multiplier is really high, but with the high cost 30 energy requirement make it kind of like okay. Even if you want to use it to deal core damage, as I mentioned, you probably want to prioritize breaking Umbra core with your ally sinner instead, to generate passive 2 stacks. As Hermania Intensify hinted, Grave has damage dealing potential. Although she most likely will be foreshadowed by Zero and maybe future by Yi, you still can use her as a second damage dealer. If you decide to do so, then Fictitious Heartache will be great for her, increasing her physical damage by 5% every time she deals core damage. Being an Umbra makes her can stack this effect up to 10 times, totaling a 50% physical damage increase. This Crimebrand will be available in the future guild event. If you want her to deal more damage and activate Use Cupid Grace more often for wave clearing, then Inversion Slash is a good choice. Not only it will help you to generate more energy, since Cupid Grace also considered a normal attack, Inversion Slash will give you an extra quick attack every 5 seconds. If you want to use Griff as a support, then a combination of Corpse Mark and Immolation Ignition is good, since it provides attack plus 10% for your main damage dealer and energy in this energy hungry team. Other option is Heartache, which is increasing the enemy damage taken by 20% when you break their core. For beginner, your option is to use Tuning Zero and Providence for combination of energy and attack boost, or Isad Dream for normal attack damage increase, which will benefit you while in Cupid Grace state. Graves is fine on Shackle 0. However, if you plan to build Umbra core team, then Shackle 1 has good value, since basically it's more damage. Shackle 3 is basically Grace's personal damage increase during Cupid Grace, which further amplify her wave clearing potential. Shackle 4 actually quite good since Umbra core team is very energy hungry. Reducing her energy cost is very valuable. Too bad it put behind a paywall called Shackle 4, which will be very expensive for newbie or casual player like me. So no. With that, we are at the end of the video. If you decide to pull for Graves, good luck with your pull, and make sure you save for the future sinner. Meanwhile, I have a wedding to attend. Until then, please take care. What do you mean it's my own wedding? The fuck? Hey, do you like the video? Then please consider like, comment and subscribe. I also stream Path to Nowhere and other gacha game like Reverse 1999 and Heaven's Burn Red. So if you want to enjoy gacha game with good story, so why not join me? I will see you there. Bye bye.